Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. About ready to roll off of pit road, and you see the front row. Matt Crafton, Nelson Piquet Jr. will bring the field to the green flag. We're hearing early on that Crafton's going to choose the outside line. He has choice since he won his 7th career Camping World Truck Series pole earlier today.
Yeah, if momentum has anything to do with anything, Nelson Piquet has it. What a great job last week at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, winning that nationwide race.
See there in row 2, James Busher and Ty Dillon. I want to look back to row 3. Phil, Johnny Sauter, talk about momentum. Finally got the monkey off his back after a terrible start to this 2012 season. Got that Hot Honey's Curb Records truck in victory lane at Texas, and he could be hot this night.
Absolutely. Here's Eddie Sharp, teammates back in row number 5. Our point leader, Justin Lofton.
Ron Hornady won at this racetrack 3 times, but he'll have to start back in row 6 for this one.
There's the watermelon truck. Ross Chastain had a good qualifying run sideways in that truck in qualifying, still got it up in the top 15.
Joey Coulter, Tim George, teammates for RCR back in row number 8.
Brad Keselowski will be coming toward the front. You can count on that.
Without a doubt. Don't worry about where he started. Don't worry about that.
Max Gresham, Jake Crum making up row number 10. Very competitive qualifying run earlier today.
I like qualifying. Max Gresham told us this place is just rough. We try to tiptoe around that. It's bumpy. It's got character. He says, it's rough.
Kyle Larson, one of the drivers that will be making his Camping World Truck Series debut tonight, but he'll have to go to the back of the field because he was a driver who had a problem shifting during practice earlier. Overread the engine. They had to change the motor on that truck.
Yeah, we had a couple of those. Ty Dillon also in the 3 truck.
Which is crazy unusual. You never hardly see that, but I hear the guys were trying to knock it out of gear and knocked it into the wrong gear. So learning process when you're that young, just getting going.
Going to ride along with a few different trucks. Michael, take us to this one.
Well, this is a Steakums truck, and I told y'all in my fantasy pick why this kid was going to win tonight. Joey Coulter's on a roll, finished 3rd at Texas. Watch him drive from the 16th starting spot and have a chance to win this race late in the going.
Mikey, we're also going to ride along with Jason White. He's only 15 points out of the top 10 right now in points. He's had 2 top 5s here in the last 2 years, so he'll start his gunbroker.com Ford from the 12th spot.
We're going to creep on up toward the front and ride along with the last winner in the series. That's Johnny Sauter. Drove a truck to victory lane at Texas. He's starting 6th. He'll have a good chance to do so again tonight.
We're also going to ride along with winner this year, James Busher from Kansas. 4th in points, only 23 points out of the lead. He will start his Exide Chevrolet from the 3rd spot.
Should be a pretty impressive view of what's going to take place at the start of this race. Let's talk about the particulars of this race with our track description. A 1.5 mile racetrack, and it's in the form of a D. Why is that, Michael?
Well, it's because the front straightaway goes out like a D.
Well, how come everybody thought it was because of your brother? Had something to do with it.
He did design it. His statues over on the back straightaway. He had a lot to do with this place getting up and going. And what a fun place it is to race. Wide turns. You got a lot of character in the track, I like to call it. A lot of high speeds, too. These guys are going to be approaching 180, 90 miles an hour here.
You see the race distance, 150 laps at pit window, 50 to 55. The caution would have to fall exactly right to only make this on 2 stops. Look for a 3-stop race.
3-stop race is what Phil Parsons is calling. Let's go down to pit road and Hermie Sadler.
Well, Rick, Nelson Piquet Jr. is making his 38th career start in the Camping World Truck Series. He has yet to be to victory lane in this series, but he did get his first NASCAR win in the NASCAR Nationwide Series last week at Road America, taking the checkered flag in a huge win for Nelson Piquet. How huge, you may ask? Well, his native Brazil changed the airtime for a soccer match in his native Brazil so they could watch that race live back at home, and he rewarded his fans with a victory. Ray Dunlap?
Well, Hermie, you know, Nelson Piquet is one of those guys we expect to win at any time, but there's one guy I think climbs to the top of that list. And you know I'm a bit of a stats guy. I keep track of a lot of stuff, and one of my favorite stats is that we've had 23 different drivers that are on the list of winning in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions. But look at these 2 names that are in the absentee ballot. Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson, they don't have a win in trucks yet. Now look at this list of all the drivers that have done it and how many victories they've had over the years. There are some really big names with some really big numbers. And I think tonight Brad Keselowski puts his name on that list and becomes driver number 24 to win in all 3 divisions.
It's going to be really hard for Jimmy Johnson to win here tonight.
I don't think he's going to get to victory lane tonight.
But
he'll be watching, though.
Yeah. Somebody spelled his name wrong. 5 times deserves to get his name spelled right, I think.
2 by 2, the trucks work their way around this 1.5 miles, getting ready for the green flag to fly. They'll go around one more time before that flies, but Matt Crafton will start up front, and you're seeing the 3 of Ty Dillon start to drop back.
He and Kyle Larson. Kyle's doing the same thing down on the inside, so they'll go to the back of the field. You know, Joey Coulter talked in our qualifying show here on Speed about how disappointed he was to start back in the 16th place and how hard it would be to rebound and get to the front. Tells you how tough the competition is here. Ty Dillon has a bigger task to try to get back up there.
And pretty quick, too. He qualified 4th, but he'll have to, again, go back to the back of the field on this one. Look at the success that some of these drivers have had, not in the Truck Series, but in other series. Todd Bodine won here in 2002 in the Nationwide Series. And Brad, as you talked about, a driver who needs to get a win here in the Truck Series, has won in the Nationwide Series here.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman, Brad's driver, won here in the ARCA Series back in 2009. And James Busher also in the other ARCA race that year in 2009.
These starts are really intense, guys. We talked about the bumps in the road and how tough it is to race early in the going because the track's still hot from the sun beating down on it all day long. Watch for these first few laps, guys, side by side, getting loose. They haven't run in a big pack like that since they've been here in Kentucky, so it could be an exciting start.
And the groove's pretty narrow right now, guys. Expect that to widen out a little bit. You see where the rubber's been down? That's where they've been running.
So the first bit of strategy by Matt Crafton chooses the outside line for the initial start of this race. Field working their way out of turn number 4. The fans on their feet, and the green flag goes in the air. We're underway from Kentucky. Looked as though the 88 not up to speed as quickly as we saw the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr.
He's getting a push from his teammate, though. That probably had a little bit to do with it as well. Getting in front of Johnny Sauter. He knows he can get a little bit of push from Sauter. Sauter's going to make the move around the outside of Piquet, too.
I think Piquet got a little bit loose. Now they're 3 wide for second.
3 and 4 wide behind them as well as they go down the backstretch.
Look at Hornaday diving hard into the turn. Man, that's a hard corner to make when you dive in that low on that angle. He makes it happen.
He knows he has the best tires he's going to have here for a good while, and he made that move.
A lot of drivers running out of that preferred groove right now, trying to find some grip as we remain 3 and 4 wide going through the tri-oval.
He says, guys say it's only 150 laps. I'm going to have to get it done now.
Getting after it right at the drop of the green flag, and it's Thor Sport Racing teammates up front. Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter battle for position back there between James Busher.
Hornaday still 3 wide.
Hornaday on the inside of a 3 wide battle.
Look how high these trucks are running. Man, that's unheard of. That was Ross Chastain all the way up in the gray. You wouldn't think there's enough grip there, but he hung on to her.
James Busher and the 6 of Justin Lofton battling for a spot. It looks as though Busher's going to take it away from Justin Lofton. Now Lofton battles back on the outside with the momentum.
Normally, most of the racetracks we go to, we see a guy go to the bottom. He stays down there, hugs that white line. Not here. They get through in the bumps. They start bouncing up and have to move up the racetrack.
Now, Phil, I'm a fan of bumps. I think this is fun racing to watch. And as a driver, it's pretty cool. We hear some of the guys say, like Piquet. He said, I really enjoy running through the bumps. It's just different. It's fun. And it'll be really exciting as the sun continues to go down. Sparks will fly. These guys will be running faster than ever as this race winds down at the end. Watch for those bumps to play a big role in how this thing turns out.
I think he's moving the groove up himself.
Ross Chastain's decided that he's not going to go where the other drivers are going. He's moving a little bit higher around this racetrack. Here comes Busher again to the inside of Justin Lofton.
These guys have been battling since the drop of the green flag just a few moments ago. James Busher took that spot, and then Justin took it back.
Way up the racetrack behind him. Still, that's 0-8 of Ross Chastain going into uncharted waters.
There's Ty Dillon. Remember, we'll watch his progress. Ty is already up to the 23rd spot. Started all the way at the back. In 4 laps, he's passed about 12 trucks.
Ty Dillon working the inside of the racetrack, trying to get by Paulie Haraka in the 5.
We talked about Kyle Larson going back there with him. He's not quite as experienced at this 1.5 mile racing as Ty Dillon is. He's only moved up a few spots from his starting spot.
Paulie Haraka in that 5, a little different situation for him this year. Or actually this race. He has Ted Musgrave that is helping him. He's spotting for him from up above on the spotter stand, and that's a former champion talking in your ear, so it's got to be a big help for Paulie Haraka.
Yeah, without a doubt. Paulie's had some problems trying to get to the finish of these races, and hopefully that's going to help that situation. I know they've worked together quite extensively all week long.
See Jason Leffler in the 18 just in front of Brad Keselowski in the 19.
Caught a glimpse of Brad getting by a couple trucks as they exited turn number 2.
Those two started 18th and 19th. Now Leffler running 12th and Keselowski 13th, but not for long. Keselowski moves to the high side, trying to take that spot away.
Like we talked about Brad Keselowski, he would not stay back there very long. Started back in the 17th spot.
So Keselowski gets around Leffler, so he moves up into the 12th position.
We talked about what a strong start and a great drive by Ross Chastain. Smoke from underneath the hood of that truck. I think the engine has gone away on him. So
on the gauges, no noise, no nothing.
You can hear the disgust in his voice.
Watermelon's done.
Oh, we lost our watermelon guy.
Yeah.
But you know what's so cool about that kid? He no wonder he's so disappointed, Phil. He was going up where other guys weren't, making passes, running high, wanting to show people that he can drive one of these babies. And I love what I see out of this kid. Engine brakes, and he can't show what he's got.
Yeah, 2 DNFs already for the 0-18.
Look at those things sliding sideways and bouncing around.
Jason Leffler had his hands full there in that Dollar General Toyota number 18.
This is the first time today that the trucks have been on the track that the sun hasn't been beating down on the track. So most of the track in shade now, with the exception of the backstretch.
Keselowski moves all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack to try to get by Miguel Paludo. Was not able to gain any that time.
As we progress through this race, we're potentially going to see laps increase as far as speed.
No doubt. These guys will just get faster all night long, and that's going to be fun to watch, Rick, because talked about the crew chief and him having to make decisions that'll help these guys win this race. You know, if your truck is perfect and you come to pit road, your crew chief's probably going to have to make an adjustment because the track is just going to continue to change. So you got to stay ahead of this baby, make some smart decisions, even if your driver says don't touch it.
James Buescher looking to the inside of that 29 of Parker Kligerman, trying to take that 4th spot away.
155 miles an hour at the exit of the corner.
Is this going to get all the way up to 180 something?
Probably 175 anyway here, right? Getting close. 173 on the front straightaway for James Buescher.
Oh, you see Kligerman wiggling around there, and James has got to remain calm and just keep his foot in it, because you got to keep your momentum up here. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air. If you come up off that gas too much, it's hard to get it wound back up.
Really flat entrance to turn number 3 there, as you see James Buescher move to the outside of Kligerman. The bank really doesn't come in until you're already in the corner. These trucks have a tendency to get a little bit too loose getting in that corner.
So Buescher takes away the 4th spot from Parker Kligerman. It's Crafton, Sauter, PK Jr., Buescher, and Kligerman, your top 5. Crafton now with a 1.9 second lead over his teammate, Johnny Sauter.